One ordinary-looking coin can hide a detail that changes everything. But what happens when an entire category of coins contains secrets most people never notice? Some pieces may carry unusual characteristics, overlooked production details, or tiny clues that only become important when collectors know exactly where to look. As we examine these coins one by one, the mystery will grow, because the most surprising discoveries may be hiding in places you would never expect. Like this video, share it with fellow collectors, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more rare coin discovery. Because our first coin may already be hiding something remarkable. First coin, the 2000 United States Sacagawea Dollar coin featuring the Philadelphia Mint mark. P may look like an ordinary golden dollar at first glance, but this coin carries a story that begins at a turning point in American coinage. Released in 2000 as the first circulating U.S. dollar coin to feature a Native American woman, the Sacagawea Dollar was designed to honor the Shoshone guide who played a crucial role in the Lewis and Clark expedition. Its warm golden color, smooth edge, and distinctive portrait immediately separated it from older silver-colored dollar coins, while the reverse showed a soaring eagle surrounded by 17 stars representing the states in the Union at the time of the expedition. Millions were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which means the simple presence of the P mint mark does not automatically make every 2000 example rare. But that is exactly where the mystery begins, because when millions of coins are produced, even tiny differences in striking, preservation, planchet quality, and minting errors can create a small number of pieces that collectors begin searching for decades later. The first thing that makes the 2000 Philadelphia Sacagawea Dollar fascinating is its place in history. This was the birth year of a completely new dollar design, produced during a major attempt to bring the dollar coin back into everyday American commerce. The coin's unusual golden appearance came from its manganese brass outer layers over a copper core, giving it a color unlike the traditional silver-colored dollars many people remembered. The obverse portrait of Sacagawea, carrying her infant son Jean-Baptiste, was intended to create a more personal connection than a simple symbol or building could provide. Yet the very details that made the coin recognizable also created opportunities for collectors to study how each piece was made. A slightly weak strike, unusual surface texture, doubled lettering, a misaligned design, an abnormal rim, or a planchet problem can turn an ordinary-looking coin into something far more interesting. The challenge is that many marks that appear dramatic under a phone camera are simply damage that happened after the coin left the mint, and separating genuine mint-made characteristics from post-mint damage is where the real detective work begins. Now imagine finding one of these coins in an old jar, a forgotten drawer, a family collection, or even loose change that has been sitting untouched for years. You turn it over and notice that the P is clearly visible, the surfaces appear unusually clean, and the lettering seems just slightly different from another Sacagawea dollar beside it. The rim looks sharper, the strike seems stronger, a strange doubling appears around part of a letter. Suddenly, the coin that once seemed worth only its face value begins to feel like a message from the past. Collectors carefully compare the weight, the metal composition, the golden color, the alignment of the strike, the shape and condition of the rim, and the details of the lettering. They also look for genuine doubled design elements rather than simple scratches or reflections. Even then, the most exciting discovery is not automatically the most valuable, because rarity must be combined with condition, authenticity, demand, and sometimes the right buyer appearing at the right auction. That is when the value conversation begins to change. A normal circulated 2000 Philadelphia Sacagawea dollar generally does not belong in the same category as a truly rare error or elite condition specimen, but unusual examples can attract serious attention when their characteristics are confirmed. Minor variations or collectible anomalies may bring results in the $2,500 to $3,500 range in cases where collectors compete for a desirable, authenticated piece. A high-grade example with exceptional preservation can potentially reach around $5,000 when its condition and market demand justify that level. These numbers should never be treated as a guaranteed price for every coin, because the difference between an ordinary coin and a premium example can be almost invisible to an inexperienced eye. The same date and mint mark can appear on thousands of coins, while a genuinely unusual specimen may be separated from them by only one tiny detail created during the minting process. As the coin becomes more unusual, the possible outcomes can rise dramatically. A confirmed mint anomaly with strong collector interest could reach around $6,000 in a favorable sale, while a particularly desirable collector piece may approach $7,500 when rarity, condition, and demand all come together. An exceptionally preserved or uncommon example could move toward $8,000, and an unusual find with strong collector demand might reach approximately $8,500 in a competitive auction environment. These figures represent possible documented collector or auction outcomes where applicable, not promises, fixed price tags, or automatic values. The market can change, auction results can vary, and a coin that looks extraordinary online may receive a completely different evaluation in person. In other words, the difference between a coin worth face value and one capable of attracting thousands of dollars may depend on evidence that can survive professional examination. And then there is the level that makes people stop scrolling. Extraordinary or historically significant examples that could be discussed in the range of up to $9,000 in exceptional circumstances. At that level, the coin would need far more than simply being a 2000 Sacagawea dollar with a P mint mark. It would need a compelling combination of genuine rarity, exceptional preservation, a recognized minting anomaly or important variety, strong documentation, and serious collector competition. For someone who discovered such a coin unexpectedly, the emotional impact could be enormous. A coin sitting unnoticed in a box could suddenly feel like an unexpected financial windfall, perhaps enough to change plans for a home down payment or create a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But excitement must never replace verification, because exaggerated online claims can make ordinary coins appear valuable, while genuine rarities are sometimes overlooked by people who do not know what they are seeing. Before anyone buys or sells a coin based on a dramatic price claim, examine it carefully and methodically. Check the weight with a precise scale, study the metal composition and unusual color, inspect the strike alignment, examine the rim for genuine mint-related abnormalities, and look closely at the letters for authentic doubling rather than damage, machine doubling, or blurry photography. Compare the coin with verified examples, document every unusual feature, and most importantly, seek professional authentication before making a major purchase or sale. A grading service or qualified numismatic expert can determine whether the feature is real, whether the coin has been altered, and whether its condition supports the value being claimed. Because with a coin like this, the most expensive mistake may not be missing $1 million treasure. It may be paying thousands for a coin that only looked rare under the wrong light. And that is why the 2000 Philadelphia Sacagawea Dollar remains so intriguing. Most examples are pieces of modern American history, but a tiny number may carry a detail that changes the entire story. Somewhere, perhaps in an old collection or an overlooked box of coins, there could be a specimen whose weight, strike, rim, lettering, or preservation separates it from the ordinary crowd. The P mint mark is only the beginning of the investigation, not the final answer. So before you spend that golden dollar, look again, because the next coin waiting to be examined may be even more remarkable. A coin whose tiny minting detail could turn an everyday piece of change into one of the most unexpected discoveries a collector has ever made. Next coin, the 2001 P Sacagawea $1 coin minted in Philadelphia, can look almost completely ordinary, the kind of golden dollar that might pass through a cash register, disappear into a pocket, or sit forgotten in a jar for years without attracting a second glance. Yet this particular coin belongs to an important chapter in modern American coinage, produced during the early years of a dollar series created to bring a distinctive new design into everyday circulation. Its warm gold-colored appearance comes from a copper core surrounded by manganese brass outer layers, while the obverse carries the portrait of Sacagawea with her infant son, and the reverse presents the soaring eagle design that became one of the coin's most recognizable features. Millions of 2001 Philadelphia examples were struck, so the date and mint mark alone do not make every coin rare. The real intrigue begins with the small number of pieces that may have left the mint with unusual characteristics, exceptional preservation, or a genuine production error that remained hidden, until a collector looked closely enough to realize that an ordinary-looking dollar might have an extraordinary story. The history behind the 2001 issue adds another layer to the mystery. By this point, the Sacagawea Dollar was no longer a brand-new experiment, but the series was still in its early formative years, and the Philadelphia Mint was producing coins that would eventually become part of a much larger collecting story. Each planchet had to pass through a complex manufacturing process before receiving the final design, and even a tiny problem at one stage could create a result that collectors would later study with intense interest. A coin might show an unusual strike, a planchet-related defect, a distorted edge, an off-center design, or a genuine doubling characteristic. But the key question is always whether the feature was created at the mint or appeared later through damage. That distinction is what separates a fascinating discovery from an ordinary coin with scratches, dents, discoloration, or wear. For the collector, the appeal is not simply the possibility of money. It is the chance to hold a physical record of a moment when metal, machinery, pressure, and timing produced something that was never supposed to exist in quite that form. Now picture the moment someone finds one. Perhaps it is in a box inherited from a relative, a collection purchased years ago and never fully examined, or a group of dollar coins that had been overlooked because every piece seemed identical. One coin catches the light differently. Its color appears subtly unusual. The rim seems to expand in a way that does not match the others. The design looks slightly shifted, or the letters appear to carry a strange secondary outline. At first, it is easy to dismiss the discovery. Most people have seen coins that look strange because of circulation damage, cleaning, lighting, or camera distortion. That is why so many potentially interesting pieces are ignored, and why missed opportunities can become part of a collector's greatest regrets. The coin may have been sitting in plain sight for years, waiting for someone to compare it carefully instead of tossing it back into a drawer. The investigation begins with details that can be measured rather than imagined. A serious examination should include the coin's weight, the composition and behavior of its metal, the consistency of its golden color, and the alignment of the strike on both sides. The rim deserves special attention, particularly if it appears expanded, unusually broad, uneven, or different from the standard form, because genuine mint-related abnormalities can sometimes reveal how the planchet or striking process behaved. The lettering should also be studied for possible doubling, but collectors must be cautious. True double design elements are not the same as ordinary wear, scratches, machine doubling, or reflections caused by poor lighting. A coin that survives this first level of inspection may deserve closer attention, but even an exciting visual discovery should not be treated as proof of rarity until a qualified professional examines it. That is where the possible values begin to separate dramatically. Notable examples with a genuine, desirable characteristic and strong collector interest could potentially produce outcomes in the $5,000 to $7,000 range, depending on authentication, condition, rarity, and the circumstances of the sale. Higher-grade errors may reach around $8,000 when their features are confirmed and buyers compete for them. Strong mint-state coins with exceptional surfaces and compelling collector appeal could approach $8,200 in a favorable market, while unusual mint mistakes may rise toward $8,700. These figures reflect documented auction or private sale results where applicable, but they are never guaranteed, and they should not be confused with the value of every 2001 Sacagawea dollar. The difference between a common coin and a premium discovery can be enormous, and a single photograph or online claim cannot establish what a professional examination may reveal. At the next level, major error coins can reach around $9,000 in possible collector or auction outcomes when the error is dramatic, authentic, and supported by strong demand. But the most astonishing examples are the ones that push far beyond what anyone expects from a normal $1 coin. Exceptionally rare, documented error examples have been associated with values reaching as high as $35,000 in applicable auction or private sale circumstances, creating the kind of discovery that can transform a forgotten collection into a life-changing event. For one person, that kind of money could represent a major step toward a home down payment. For another, it could be an unexpected financial windfall that changes plans overnight. Yet every dramatic story also carries a warning. Some collectors have watched valuable opportunities disappear because they sold too quickly, while others have spent heavily on coins that were never authenticated. The lesson is simple. Excitement can lead you to the discovery, but evidence must lead you to the value. Imagine looking back years later and realizing that the coin you once dismissed was the one you should have examined. Maybe it was traded away for $1, spent at a store, or placed in a jar beside hundreds of ordinary coins. That possibility is what gives the 2001 Sacagawea dollar its emotional power. The coin itself may appear familiar, even forgettable, but a genuine mint-made anomaly can completely change its identity. Before buying or selling a potentially valuable example, document the weight, inspect the metal and color, study the strike alignment, examine the rim for expansion or other unusual formation, and scrutinize the lettering for legitimate doubling. Then seek professional authentication from a qualified numismatic expert or recognized grading service, especially when the claimed value reaches thousands of dollars. A verified diagnosis can protect both buyers and sellers from costly mistakes and can turn a suspicion into a credible collecting story. So the next time a 2001 Sacagawea dollar appears in your hands, do not assume that its ordinary appearance tells the whole story. The Philadelphia P is only one piece of the puzzle, and the real question is whether the coin carries a documented feature that separates it from the millions of normal examples. Somewhere, a piece may still be waiting to be recognized after years of being overlooked, passed from hand to hand, or hidden among coins nobody thought were worth examining. And just when you think the search is over, another forgotten dollar may reveal an even stranger secret, one that collectors missed for decades, and that could make the next discovery far more surprising than anyone expected.